Will, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi Zane. It's very nice to meet you. Everything Richard said is 100% right. It's really about trying to chart a different course for American students that might be a little bit more affordable and economical. And like he said, also providing a level of education that would be equivalent, at least, or better than the kind of education they would receive in the United States. And injecting a sense of adventure into American students' goals and aspirations for higher ed, not just sort of the spoon-fed experience of a study abroad program, but a real study abroad where they get fully immersed in a culture for an entire program of academic study.
All right. Well, nice meeting you both. Well, yeah, I've been working for Riga Technical University for past 20 plus years and in international relations. And my sort of main task is international recruitment. And yeah, we started teaching in English in 1991. So that wouldn't be a new initiative what we've taken on here at the RTU. But right now we have already 57 degree programs which are fully taught in English. So there's a lot for, let's say, American students to choose from. We have had and currently are having the students from North America as well. But we are now very actively working with American universities for study abroad purpose. We've signed several agreements as well, but now talking to you, I understand that it's more full-time degree studies rather than the study abroad that your initiative is involved in, shall I say?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's accurate. Not that we're opposed to students that are looking just for to study abroad for a semester or two. I mean, I think we also seek to be a resource for those. In the U.S., primarily what you see with students that do so is they'll go through their university. So if you're a student, I live in Virginia at the University of Virginia, and you decide you want to study in England or something like that, it's it's not really, I mean, it's fine, but what typically happens is you sort of get sequestered within the foreign university with other, American students or international students. And nothing wrong with that. You do get something of international experience, but the University of Virginia or any American university would typically charge you for that privilege of studying abroad, along with, the tuition that you would normally expend as an American student. I mean, in part, I think, we do want to raise awareness that you could actually just go directly to the foreign institution of your choice, because that's probably a better route. But yeah, definitely. I mean, the emphasis is on the 4-year degree or the bachelor's degree, and I guess that brings up the sort of first question, as I had a little bit of a gaffe when I mentioned a 4-year degree. So in the U.S., a bachelor's degree is 4 years. It's always 4 years. Doesn't matter what you study. But I think, looking at different schools abroad, it seems like there's a great deal of variation. Sometimes it's in some countries it's a function of the degree program itself. Some will be 3, some will be 4, or 3.5, what have you, and also of the underlying educational system. I studied in Germany, and so they have a thing called Abitur, and that's where in the U.S. high school is up through the 12th grade. In Germany, it's 13th grade, and so a lot of places then, that university curriculum will be condensed into 3 years, because the assumption is that the students are coming in with maybe higher level math, and there's less and already more extensive literature and whatnot, and there isn't maybe the sort of general requirements that they need to check off. So at RTU, what are the degrees standardized, or is it vary depend on the in terms of length, or does it vary depending on the course you're taking?
Well, in not just in RTU, but in Europe, like many follow Bologna, which is 3+2. That's why you see that many unis, they have 3 years bachelor's. In the
Yeah.
case of the RTU, we have some of them would be 3 years, some would be 4.5. The reason why some of the degrees are longer, that we have compulsory internship included. And by the time you graduate, let's say if you are doing only academic degree, which would take 3 years, well, it has to be 3 years as a minimum length for the bachelor degree. And then you get your degree, let's say of engineering science in electrical engineering. And that's it. If you are doing your degree with an integrated internship, you're going to get your, again, degree of engineering science in electrical engineering, but at the same time, you will be awarded the qualification. You will have the qualification of engineer of electrical something. And so you get two documents effectively. But when you see how your studies are structured, then both, whether you go for the so-called academic degree, which takes shorter, would be 3 years, or professional degree, which takes longer and has the internship integrated, you still do your practicals, you do labs, you follow similar courses. The only exception is that you don't do your internship. And on the basis of that, you get your degree certificate quicker rather than you go through the internship period and still need to as well get your qualification done. That
Okay.
is a difference.
Yeah, that makes a great deal of sense. I mean, that's not something you see that commonly here, but that's very interesting.
Because in Europe, it's quite many universities would follow sort of the same pattern. That's part of the Bologna as well, because before that, we all had to do 5 years of studies. So
Okay,
let's
wow.
say you go do 5 years, and by the time you graduate, you get right away master's, or you get your called professional qualification. But there was no point like you could after year 3 say, okay, I had enough, I don't want to study anymore. If you do that, then that's it, you're left without anything. You sort of uncompleted higher education. But when they introduced the Bologna, they allowed you to, let's say, stop after 3 years, you end up with a qualification. And then at that point as well, you can still change your major, because otherwise you start in year 1, after 2 years, understand, hey, I don't like mechanics, I want to do something else. But yeah, there's no way out. You lose your 2 or 3 years, how many you already done. Here, you do your 3 years, you get your still degree in mechanics. After you've done that, you say, okay, I want to go and do supply chain or environmental engineering, and you change your major completely. So that's I'd say that it's very beneficial for students that they can plan and they can understand, because not many now after the high school, what do they want to do? Some do, okay, they want to go in medicine or they want to do something specific, but majority of the kids we see here, parents want me to study, and they just come and do something. And once they're in a year 2 or 3, they start to understand, well, I don't really like that. And then they still, put the effort in, complete that. And for the masters, then they go wherever they want to go and specialize. Because here as well, we give them the 3 years degree. Once they've done this 3 years, they can move to whichever. They don't need to remain with RTU. They can go somewhere in Europe, or they can go even to States, and they can complete their master's there, because that's accepted as the undergraduate qualification. Because the credit points you see which they gain throughout those 3 years, that's 120 local, which makes it 180. Let me see, it's European credits, that would be to 180, which allows them to enter into the master studies in another, whether European country or anywhere else, actually, for that matter.
So, Zane, if you were going to give some advice to American students trying to prepare for a course of study at RTU, what advice would you give them? And also, what are some of the unique qualifications and admissions requirements that you have that you would want American students to specifically prepare for, if any?
Let's see if I can can I share the screen? I wanted to show you a short presentation, like few slides, but it says that host wouldn't allow
Yeah,
me
let
to
me
share the
let
screen.
me let me allow you to share the screen here if I can figure this out. Let me make you the host. All right, you're the host now. You can do anything you want, Zane. We can't
Right.
stop you.
No, here we go. Right. Have you been to the northern part of Europe, or maybe to Riga? Any of you?
No, I never have. So in 2020, I was planning to go to the Baltics. I was going to go to Riga, Vilnius, and Tallinn.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, Richard, you hit mute.
And so
Zane, it's wonderful to see that Richard can be muted. I've been trying to mute him for years, so and I'll just
You
jump in
need
and
to
say
do that online. It
that's
works.
that's right.
Don't mute him in the pub. It ain't
That's
gonna
right.
work.
I'm much more provincial than Richard. Richard has been to Northern Europe, but it sounds like perhaps not to Latvia. I've been to Central Europe, but never to Northeastern Europe, never to the Baltics. So I look forward to visiting as part of this venture.
Right, because well, Riga is the largest airport in the area for the students as well, including American students. They are saying that's an advantage in a way that they can spend their weekends or if there are any holiday period which we give for Christmas or Easter, they can go, let's say, from Riga to Berlin, it's 1 hour flight. From Riga to Stockholm, it's 40 minutes. From Riga to London, it's 2 hours. So everything is in a very close proximity. And here in Europe, we use a lot of cheap airlines or budget airlines, shall I say, like Ryanair and EasyJet. So your return flight effectively is about 30 euros. So that's, I'd say, to go somewhere by bus, it will take longer and it will cost you more. So taking any of these flights, then that opens up whole of the Europe for them as well. So that's the location is advantage for the students as well. Well, here I have some photos, but it's pretty much like the rest of any other European countries you'd see. But we have many students coming in from Asia, from India, Sri Lanka, because at the university in total, we have 15,000 students. And out of those, we have around 4,000 are international students. So there's a large international student community. So if the students come here, there'll be already many international students. It won't be like you are the only American here and we don't know what to do with you. And the majority of students come from Asia here, about 60%. Then we have large groups of the French students here as well, studying at the RTU. And all in all, it's 104 nationalities represented on campus here. And a university, we are located in the capital city, in Riga, and we are in the city center. So here, this would be a photo here at the bottom right corner.